Everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday night live Q&A. My name is Tracy Matson. I'm a certified professional dog trainer and behavior consultant, and I'm excited to be here tonight. I have my dog Jade here with me tonight as well. Tonight, usually I am happy to stay on as long as I need to answer questions. Tonight I have a commitment at 7:15, so I need to leave here at about 7. So tonight I can only go an hour, but I'm happy to answer questions, or if you want to message me like at another time if I don't get to your question, um, I'm happy to do that as well. I will be taking names tonight and putting them in a drawing for, oh, I guess I better get these out from last time. I will be doing a drawing probably about 6:45, and we'll do a drawing for a free bag of training treats. And whoa, I'm dropping them all over the place. And yes, like I said, we'll do a drawing. I go through so many training treats, you guys. I have like a constant order that comes, but I need to like raise it because the last time I was down there at the actual Pupford facility, like I stocked up on treats and I'm already almost out. So, hey, Sally. Oh, Sally, I have yours from last time. I think. Do I have any more in there? Okay, Sally, I remember you from last week. But why can I not find your name? Remind me again, Sally, where you're from. Because I swear I had a thing for you. And I could guess, but I would probably guess wrong. That is so weird. Oh, I found it. North Carolina. Yay. I found it. Okay, so I've got Sally in there, Nicole. I know I have one for Nicole. I should put these in alphabetical order so that they're easier to find. Okay, there's Nicole. Hello, Anthony. Anthony, I know you're from Cali, so you don't even have to tell me that anymore. Okay, glad you guys jumped on early because, like I said, hi, Kayla. Kayla, have you been on before? I don't have a paper for you. So, Kayla, if you can tell me where you're from, I will enter you in the drawing. And then I'll have a paper for you for next week or for whenever you join. We get a lot of return people, which I love. So I'm just keeping the list now so I can do the drawing. Virginia. Oh, my brother lives in Virginia. What part of Virginia? He is in, oh shoot, I can't even. He used to be in Leesburg, and I think, hey Renee, I think he's still, I know he moved, bought a new house, and I think he's still in Leesburg. Interestingly though, since he works for the government, okay, let me get Brian and Renee because I know that Brian will be following soon. And Brian, I did this in my office tonight just for you, and because I have an extra dog at my house, and it would be total chaos at my house. So, oh, Gloria, hi, welcome. So Gloria, we do this once a week, usually on a Wednesday or Thursday. I believe next week it is on a Thursday. And we do a drawing, and you can ask any training questions. Hi, Brian. I knew you'd be coming, so I already put your name in. You can ask any training questions or behavior questions you have, and I will do my best to answer them. And then you are being entered into a drawing now, and we will draw tonight about 6:45, since I have to leave about 7. Just for tonight. Usually I'm happy to stay on as long as I need to answer everybody's questions. Okay, so let's go back to Nicole. Just got done being out for Wings with Moose. It's his 1-year gotcha day. Oh, congrats. So you took Moose out for Wings? That is so nice of you. Sometimes I do take Jade out for French fries. I mean, we're doing service dog training, but he does get fed French fries, or she gets fed French fries from the table, but only I am allowed to give them to her, and she has to be in a settle. So yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, okay, so I have to be honest. It's snowing out and the wind is blowing, and so when I know that I'm going to be out in the wind and the snow, it's usually a beanie day or a baseball hat day, just because it's easier on the hair. And I don't like to spend a lot of time. My hair's usually in a ponytail or a bun anyway. But yes, thank you. My colleague, one of the other trainers that works with me, that also has done some lives here, she bought this for me for Christmas, and so I always wear it. I love it. And on the days that I don't have time to do my hair, I just stick a beanie on. So I will tell her that you like it. I've lost it twice and found it twice. And she's like, I'm going to get you a second one just so you have a backup. And I'm like, I'll lose it. But yeah, you can get me a second one and I will pay you for it, just because I do lose everything. Hello, Willow. Oh, so Willow, I thought you were saying help. I thought, okay, Willow needs help with her dog. So I don't know if you were just saying help or hello. Monica. Okay, let me get caught up. Okay, so I need to put Willow in. Okay, there's Willow. Monica. I have Monica, South Carolina. God, I'm glad you guys are jumping on early. Okay, he gets plain, no sauce, but no bones, right? So just the meat and no bones. I don't eat meat, but I have gotten wings before, just as kind of as a special treat. And then I just like take the meat off and give it to them without giving them like the bones or the sauce. So Kim Tim Everett. Okay, welcome. I'm going to put you in the drawing. Ohio. Okay. You got the, yeah, I figured that you would take the meat off and not give him the bones. So, okay, let me go back and grab the questions. Okay, so Sally's asking, Kobe has started to bark and run around when we are trying to put on his harness to take him out, trying to get him to settle and or ignore other suggestions. Yes. So my dog gets super excited when we are going out, and she will jump and not really run around, but she gets like overly excited. So I like to teach a sit and a wait. And I'm actually doing this with some other clients right now, where the reward is actually being able to go outside and go for a walk. And so Kobe's just like overly excited. So it's like, oh, I get to go out and I get to go play. So it's just an overexcitement thing. So what I do is I will ask the dog to sit and wait. And then I start to put the harness on. If the dog like jumps up or runs around, then I just stop. So like barking and running around results in me not putting the harness on, but sitting and waiting results in me putting the harness on. And then when we get the harness on, we get to go out. So it kind of goes along with what we call the Premack principle, which basically means like a dog is willing to do something they don't really want to do if it results in something they really do want to do. So they don't really want to sit and wait while we put the harness on, but they will do it because then they know that they get to go outside and go for a walk or run around or go to the dog park or whatever. Um, and it does take a few times to teach the dog, but they eventually learn. Like if I run around, and one thing I don't do is chase them, because dogs love the chase game, and that's a game in and of itself. So um, I will just show them the harness and say, hey, we're going to go for a walk, we're going to go play, and can you sit and then wait. And I use wait as like, wait a second. So wait a second, and then we get to go do something fun. So like, wait for your food, and then you get your food. Wait at the door, and then we get to go for a walk. Wait while I put your harness on, and then we get to go for a walk or go do something fun. And so then if the dog gets up or jumps, or then I just basically stop. I'll just stand up and stop. And like, cease what I'm doing, and then put the dog back in a sit and a wait. And when they're calm, then I go to put the harness on again. And it really only takes a couple of trials for the dog to get it. Like if I'm calm, I get the harness on, and then we get to go play. If I'm not calm, they don't put the harness on, and then nothing fun happens. So that's what I do. So it's kind of like the dog decides if he gets to go out and play or not by his behavior. So instead of like teaching a saddle, or I mean, I kind of do ignore in a way. Like if the dog's running around and barking, then I'll just stand there with the harness, and like nothing good happens. And then I'll ask the dog, like, okay, do you want to sit? Do you want to go outside and play? Then can you give me a sit? And then I will start to put the harness on. If you guys caught Devin's podcast on a cue versus a command, I love that. And it's just been within the last year that I've switched over to how I talk to clients and how I myself work with dogs. For so many years, we've called it a command. Like, how many commands does your dog know? But Devin is absolutely right in that command kind of denotes authority, and like more of a like militaristic thing. And so instead of calling my classes like obedience, I call it manners. So instead of saying like you have to be obedient or else, because what we're trying to do is teach people how to have a really good positive association and bond with your dog, rather than like, I'm the boss and you have to do what I say, and if you don't, then something bad's going to happen, or stuff like that. So the positive reinforcement training world has kind of switched over to talking about manners and teaching the dog, well, this is what I'd like you to do, and if you do this, then this will happen. And if you choose not to, then maybe something fun isn't going to happen. But if you choose to do this, then something fun is going to happen. So it's all about like behavior and rewards and things like that. So if you haven't listened to that yet, like give it a listen, because it's really good. So going along with what Sally is asking, I always just kind of, I mean, I do talk to my dogs like they're people, but, or like small children, and I'll just say, Jade, do you want to go with me? Like, can you sit and wait? Because if you can, then I'll put your harness on and then we can go. But I let the dog decide, and usually she'll choose now to sit and wait, even though she's super excited and her tail's going 100 miles an hour. But she will sit and wait because she knows that once the harness is on, depending on where we go, like right now, she just has her collar on. But so an example is when we go in the car, and if we're going to go train for service dog stuff, before she gets out of the car or out of the crate, then I have her wait while I put her service dog and training vest on. And so she knows that if she waits, and I don't hold on to her or anything, I just open the door or open the crate, and I attach the leash, put her vest on, and she knows if she waits, then we're going to get to go do training, and she gets to go with me places, and we get to go have fun, um, and stuff like that. So, but then if she doesn't wait, then I'll just kind of, I mean, I've never really had to grab her collar, but if she's moving around too much, I'll say, okay, you know what? Sorry, we're not going to go anywhere until you can sit and wait. And a lot of times I don't even have to say anything. I just stop putting the vest on, and I just stand there and wait for her to do what I have asked. And then when I can put the leash and collar on, then I give her the cue to like, let's go, which means she can jump out of the car. So that's kind of what I would do, and think of it more like a conversation and communicating with your dog what you want, rather than it being like a command and that your dog has to be obedient type of thing. Because I just think it gives you a better relationship with your dog if you view it as like a partnership and a conversation, rather than you're giving orders and your dog must obey type of thing. I'm one of those people that I don't like to be told what to do. So if somebody tells me what to do, I'm more likely to be like, yeah, maybe I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. But if somebody asks me, there's not much I wouldn't do for people. So I kind of look at that as the same, like, with my dogs. Like, I'll ask them to do something, and if they choose not to, I mean, if it's a safety thing, then yeah, I'm going to be like, okay, well, we need to do a leave it, and we need to do this because we're in an unsafe situation. But if you do this, I will reward you so heavily for this, and it'll be so much fun, and it'll be worth it. So that kind of thing. Does that make sense? So I would just teach a sit and a wait. If Sally, if you need my handout on weight, I'm happy to send it to you. I will put my email in the chat. And it usually takes me a couple days to get to everybody. So, yeah, I can send you the weight. And this handout is like wait for food and wait at the door, but you can transfer that over to just about anything. So like I said, I'll do wait while I put a harness on, wait while I put a vest on, wait while I put a leash on, just so dogs aren't like running around, barking, jumping. And when I have bent over to put a harness on or a leash on, I've had dogs get so excited they jump up and smack me in the face or almost break my nose. So that's another reason that I like to teach a good sit and wait while I'm putting it on, just so I don't have two black eyes. So I hope that helps, Sally. Let me know if you have any other questions. Oh my gosh, Nicole, I'm coming over because I want a foot massage. Your dog is lucky. I have never rubbed my dog's feet. I've like tickled them, like the hair underneath, kind of when they're sleeping, to tease them. But I've never like given them a foot massage. So that's really interesting that your dog likes that. I might have to try that. So Andrea is saying her Maru will ring her bells to go outside, but then run and play chase when we try and leash her. Yeah, so dogs love the chase game, and it is a game for them. And so I don't play the chase game. I will just, like, if they ring the bells, I'll go to open the door. But then if they run away, I'll just be like, okay, well, if you don't want to go out, then you don't want to go out. And then I'll go back to what I'm doing. However, sometimes I will play like a chase game with them because they do like that. So they will still learn, like, oh, mom will play chase with me. So I'm not saying that I never will, but it's not when we really need to go somewhere, things like that. So there'll be times in the house, like, I'll be like, Jade, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And like, she'll run and I'll chase her and I'll be like, I'm going to get you. And then I'll say, like, do you want a box? And when I say, do you want a box? And I put my hands up, like, she'll jump up and and like we'll play. So I do play the chase game with them, but it is a game. Um, but it's not when we need to get something done, like put the leash on or things like that. And so, Andrea, your dog might learn if I ring the bell, mom thinks I need to go outside, but then I can run and we'll play the chase game. And so, to your dog, the bell signals mom will chase me. So, like, if she has to go outside to potty, then yeah, you do want to like get her to go out and go potty. But I would just stay by the door and with the leash and be like, "Oh, you want to come out? If you want to go outside, you got to sit." With puppies, I also am working with a puppy right now that bites constantly when you're trying to put the leash on. So I'll do a sit and I will go to put the leash on. And if the dog starts to bite, I stop putting the leash on because the dog knows like something fun's going to happen if we go outside, but there's no biting. So then I'll just pull the leash back and stop. And then I'll wait for the dog and then I'll go to leash again. And if he bites, then I stop. And we'll do this 4 or 5 times until the dog realizes it's not going to do me any good to bite because then she's not going to put the leash on and we don't get to go outside. So then finally he'll let me put the leash on and then I like, oh, good job, good dog. Let's go out and play. And then we can go outside and play. So that's kind of what I do. So yes, it's not bad to play the chase game as long as it's on your terms and it is like a fun game, but it's not when you're trying to get something out of their mouth or trying to like go out and go potty, that kind of thing. Nicole, he's been spoiled. I'm going to come to your house. I want a gotcha day. Okay, Willow. I am potty training my miniature dachshund, and it's my dad's dog, and he won't help me. Oh dear. Okay, so that is hard when you have a family member that won't help. It can be really frustrating in a house when you're the only one doing training, but everybody's not on board. How do I get help when I work a full-time job and her potty training successful? Working with the poop side of things. She pees outside but won't poop outside. So it's tough. So do you work from home? If you have 30-minute breaks, are you working from home to where then you can let the dog out? So I'm curious as to why your dad won't help you and it's his dog. Not judging, but I would say, Dad, this is your dog. So you've got to help with the potty training or it's never going to happen. Especially if you have a full-time job. So what you can do, let's see, my thing just beeped. So let me see if that was you. Yes, I'm thinking about taking my dad's dog away from him since he won't do anything with her. Yeah, that's fair. But he bought her from a puppy mill and he doesn't feed her, doesn't train her, he doesn't potty her. He only does something with her when she gets hurt from my dog, which is annoying. So that's really tough. I mean, you could say, Dad, like I'm working full time, and if you can't help me with this, then I think it's best. You don't have to do it in a sad way or in a mean way, but just say, I think it's best, like if you don't want to spend time with your dog, that we find another home, or I'm gonna, like, I don't know what your living situation is. If you're living with your dad, so you're there but working all the time, or if you don't live there but you're nice enough to go over and try to potty train, which is harder, I think. So yeah, if your dad doesn't want to do any of the work, I would say, like, why do you have a dog? And just because he bought her from a puppy mill, doesn't mean that you can't find a really good home for the dog with somebody that's going to pay attention. Um, and I don't like to, surrender dogs, but sometimes you do have to look at quality of life for the dog. Like, is the dog getting attention other than you? Is the dog getting training? Is the dog safe? Getting enrichment, things like that. So, um, taking a dog away, I actually took a dog away from a friend once because he had a puppy and he was very, very impatient with the dog. And so one day he lost his patience and threw the dog across the garage. And I took the dog and I said, you know what? You just lost your dog. I can either call animal control on you. And this was a friend. This was one of my best friends. This was many years ago. I said, or I'll just take the dog. Like, I'll take him. And so I took the dog and he was mine for the rest of his life until he died. So, um, yeah, it's not a bad thing. But if you do want to help with the potty training, I just kind of go back to puppy training where if you can't supervise or watch, then you either, if you are working from home, you could tether the dog to you. But that might still be hard if you're working and he's suddenly like starting to poop, because you have to be able to catch the dog doing it and then interrupt and redirect the dog to going outside. The other thing that you could do is just crate the dog when you're not home or when you're working, and um, and then take the dog out when you do have a break. Um, and then when the dog does go potty outside, um, then you can reward, praise, like stuff like that. So it depends on kind of how your work schedule is set up, how far away are you if you're home, things like that. um, but maybe give your dad an ultimatum, like, okay, this dog is going to poop in your house forever if you don't help, or I'm going to take the dog away from you. And if he doesn't really sound, if he doesn't really care, then it might be that the dog would be better off with somebody else anyway. So I always look at the quality of life for the dog. That's my opinion. So did that help? I hope that helps. I'm sorry. It's really hard when you're working with people. I work with a lot of people where spouses aren't on the same page. And I'm working with a couple right now where the husband is more like authoritative and like, I've been training dogs my whole life and I want to use a shock collar on this dog. And the wife is more like, well, I do all the training and I'm the one that spends time with them and stuff like that. So it's really hard when you don't have people on the same page. And that's kind of one of my jobs, is to like kind of help people be on the same page and talk about the training and how important it is. Okay, so Willow, I have her tethered to a leash right now to keep her in my sight. Yeah, that's totally what I would do. And if you have the option of, like if the dog starts to whine or circle, and if you can take a break to take her out to potty, great. If you can't, if you're working and you can't, and your dad won't take her out, an option, not the greatest option, but it is an option, is to teach her how to go on a like pee pad. And I don't mean the potty pads, but the actual grass that's like fake grass. And they learn to like go on that grass, and then it's easy to clean up. And there's some stuff you can spray on it that makes the dog like want to go there and want to go in that area. So at least then, she's not going on the floor or the carpet or things like that. So it's not the greatest because in my opinion, it doesn't teach the dog how to go outside. But for people that live like in apartments or on the 10th floor and they can't get outside fast enough, like they have used those kinds of things. So you might have something like that in where you're working. And then, you can immediately like take her over there and say, go potty, and then reward her for going on that. And it looks and feels like grass. So then it would be easy to transition her to go outside. Let's see. You also have bells to have her tell us when she has to go. Oh, it sounds like your dad is just not making things easy. I I don't know. I think you'd have to shape it to get your dog to ring it loud enough for you to hear. Because I mean, a miniature dachshund isn't going to be able to ring it very loud. So instead of teaching the dog how to ring it louder, I would ask your dad to turn the TV down. Again, saying, hello, Julie. Let me find Julie's thing. Okay, Julie, you're in the drawing. You could also put a bell like in the room where you're working, so you can actually see her ring the bell and let you know that she needs to go out, or ask your dad to turn the TV down. You could also do something like, a camera by the door, or like the baby monitor type things that are in a different part of the house, but it helps you hear what's going on. You could do something like that. It looks like Andrea might have a good idea. Willow, fold the nylon over to double up the amount of bells the dog hits. Oh, awesome. I've never thought of that. That works for us. So yeah, try that. Or sit down and have a heart to heart with your dad. Like, okay, I need help. You got to help potty train. This is your dog, and I can't hear the bells if your TV's blaring. So, I think it's not to sound mean, but it sounds like the dad needs more training than the dog. I have tried this with people using positive reinforcement. So when your dad does something to help you, like praise the heck out of him and say, oh, Dad, that was so nice of you to do that. Thank you so much. That helped so much, and I really appreciate it. And then he might be like, oh, Willow really appreciates when I do that, so I'll do more of it. So I have done that before. When my cousin lived with me, I tried doing that. It didn't always work, but sometimes it worked. So yeah, or try Andrea's suggestion to double the bells up so that you can hear it. Okay, Gloria, 13-week Roxy will just stop and won't take a step. She won't budge. How do I address this? So one thing that I will do is drop treats. So it's kind of like the Hansel and Gretel, where you just drop the treats, and then the dog will follow the treats and be like, oh, there's treats. I'm going to walk and get these. And then they don't think so much about like, oh, I'm going for a walk and this is really scary. Sometimes I have to use higher value treats like cheese or hot dogs or chicken, something like that. I've also used hand targeting before. So teaching the dog how to touch. Do you know what hand targeting is? Let me see if I can get Miss Jade over here to demonstrate. Except I'm all, Jade, touch. Yes. So you just teach them to touch their nose to your hand. Touch. Yes. And you can start that by just putting a treat in your hand and luring the dog to your hand. So say I have a treat right here, and you just hold your hand out and the dog will come and get the treat. And right when you feel their nose touch your hand, that's when you mark with the clicker or a nose bump, and then mark it and then treat. And then you can eventually like say touch. And I will do that when I'm walking as well. So it's a behavior that people always say, why do I need to learn how to do this? Oh, there's so many uses for hand targeting. And one of them is to move dogs through space. So you could take a few steps and say, Roxy, touch. And then Roxy comes and touches your hand, gets a treat. I also use this to teach dogs to like walk next to me. So I'll do hand targeting like right by my side. Um, and if she won't hand target, then I would just drop treats. When I was in rescue, we had a lot of dogs that were afraid to walk on leash or afraid to go through doors, and so we did the drop the treat to get them to walk like through a doorway or just walk outside. And we would do that to teach them how to walk on leash. So try that. Dropping treats or hand targeting. And Gloria, same. If you want a handout on hand targeting, just email me and just remind me which handout you want, and I'm happy to send it to you. Okay, Nicole, the other day I dropped a screw and totally forgot the leave it cue. My dogs probably thought I was crazy because I'm like, don't eat it. It worked. They didn't eat it. Good. I mean, sometimes like we forget. I do it too. I was working with a reactive dog and we were out on a walk and these two off-leash dogs came running up at us. And I teach this all the time and I totally forgot that I have treats and I could have treat bombed the other dogs. But I was more concerned about keeping the dog that I had under threshold and not reacting and safe and trying to avoid a dog fight, that I was like turning and trying to get in between the two dogs. And I totally forgot. Like after the fact, I thought, oh, why didn't I just treat bomb them? That's where you take a handful of treats and you throw them at the other dog right in their face. And 95% of the time, the dogs will stop to get the treats and then you have time to move away. And I totally forgot. Like in the moment, I just didn't think about that. So I thought about it after. But if you want to know the truth, dogs respond kind of more to body language and tone than like actual cues. And I did an experiment. I know I've told you guys about this before, but I read about this. So I tried an experiment with Jade. And we were at the place where I teach my classes. And without using a hand signal, I had my hands to my side and I said, Jade, sit. And she just looked at me. And so then I used the hand signal and I said, Jade, fudge. And I used the hand signal for sit, but I said fudge and she sat. So she's responding more to the hand signal. And then I called her like I did a recall and she just kind of ignored me. So then I made it really excited, put my arms out like, like they do to little kids, like, oh, come see me. And the screen's not big enough to show you, but I said like, Jade, lettuce, let's go, let's go, let's go. I said lettuce and she came. So it's more about your tone and body language, I think, than the actual cue. I mean, dogs for sure can learn cues, but the fact that you forgot the leave it cue, but you're like, oh, don't eat that. Your dog's totally responded to that. And that's great. But that also tells me that you have good communication and a good relationship and bond with your dog, that your dog knows how to read you and didn't eat it. So that's kudos to you. So good job. So Willow, I'm about to go to Victoria and have her tell him how important it is for him to help out and stuff when one or both people are working and it's just him at home. I agree. I totally agree. Who's Victoria? But yeah, I agree. Oh, so let's see. You work at McDonald's, so me working adds up and takes time when I walk. Yeah. I totally agree. I don't see how you can do it with a full-time job. And let's see, I'm about to just send her to the ARL. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, Animal Rescue League, probably. I do not blame you. And honestly, if your dad doesn't want to help and isn't spending time with her, the dog would probably have a better quality of life with somebody else anyway. I hate to say it, but your dad really needs to be engaged in the training, enrichment, potty training, give your dog attention, go on walks. Otherwise, like, what kind of quality of life is that for the dog? Especially if you're working full time and don't have time to like help with something that should be his um it should be his responsibility. Nicole, I guess we can look up the first time I came to Wednesday night, and that can be your gotcha day. Hey, yeah, I'm up for that. That's a long way to go for a foot rub, though. Um, let's see, Willow. I'm living with him, and he keeps saying that she isn't going anywhere, which makes it worse. Yeah. Um, and then yes, it is time. It is hard to give both of the dogs quality time and split it evenly. I have 4 dogs at my house, and it is a full-time job just spending time with all 4. And I have Maddie, who's 11, and then I have Jade, who's a service dog in training, so she's a lot of work. And Daphne is terrified of riding in the car, so I have to do separate things with her. And then I have Willie, who's special needs and in a cart, and so he can't go on long hikes. So I totally get it. I know it is hard to find time, even with just 2 dogs, to spend quality time with every single dog. And there are some days if I'm busier than others, like it just doesn't happen. I try to do enrichment in the morning when I'm feeding. So feeding in like puzzle toys or snuffle mats, things like that. And then they get enrichment boxes that they can shred a few times a week. Um, just because to go on 4 separate walks a day just with my schedule is not going to happen. Luckily, I have a big fenced yard, but that's not enough exercise for them. So um, I've actually thought about hiring a dog walker just for my own dogs so that they can get out more than they already are. Once a week, I mean, I have 2 days off a week, sometimes only 1 day, but I do try and get out once or twice a week and go hiking and go on a long hike with the ones that can hike, which is only 2. Like 2 of my 4 can hike. Um, okay, so Willow, she barks and whines when she is in her crate, and my dad gives in to that, and the neighbor complains, says she is being too loud. Yeah, you're in a really tough spot. I'm sorry. So yeah, if you're again, I would train your dad and just say, look, the neighbors are complaining. If you give in, then that's going to reinforce the whining, and then she's going to go in the house. Um, let's see. I asked him a little bit ago if he could help, but he said maybe. And then she says he will take her out and work with her when he has a day off. I just want to cry. Yeah, I don't blame you. Um, and if you work at McDonald's, I don't think that you're going to be able to take her to work with you. Just because you work at a place around food. So unless she's a service dog, they're probably not going to let you take her. So I would say, yeah, exactly. He's a cat person. So why did he get a dog? I mean, cats are so easy. Um, so yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but it might. If it's stressing you out and you're like have all this extra responsibility that you didn't ask for, it might be better just to try to rehome the dog, um, especially if he's not going to help you. That's just my opinion. Hello, Kirsten. Welcome. Kirsten, if you want to tell me where you're from, um, then I will put you in the drawing. Oh, I've got to keep track of time too. Let's see, Willow. I just talked to him and he said he would try, but when he said that, it sounded like he didn't even want to help at all. Yeah, so I think, if you've asked him to help, if he doesn't in a few days, then I would say, like, Dad, I'm sorry, but I just can't do this, so I'm going to find a new home for your dog. And if it sounds like he might not even care if he doesn't spend a lot of time with her anyway. Okay, I'm going to answer Julie's question and then we'll do a drawing just because I have to leave at 7. Dakota is starting to snap at the kids when they go near her crate or let her out when she is done eating. I started to have Dakota go in and out of her crate. Also, I closed the crate door and have them sit in the crate and feed her through the crate. No, I think what you did was great. I mean, some dogs, it's normal for them to resource guard their crate. So I just had a dog that did board and train with me that when she wanted to be, it's kind of a long story as to why she was boarding with me, but she's like super nervous around other dogs and she's getting picked on by the other dogs in the home. So I took her while they were out of town so I could see how she acted around like my dogs that I knew wouldn't hurt her or him. It was a male. But he, like, his safe place was the crate. So he always wanted to be in his crate in his bed. But anytime any of my dogs would walk by, he'd growl. And sometimes he'd snap at him. So it's normal. And as long as the kids, so that's just Dakota saying, I don't like it when you come near my crate. And dogs can resource guard anything like sleeping spots, crates, food, couches, beds, people. And that's just his way, or I think Dakota's female, right? I think, yeah, her, because I had a Dakota, but mine was a male. I remember yours is female. So it's like normal if she's resource guarding her crate, but we don't want her snapping at the kids. So yes, what you did is great. Is when the kids approach the crate, good things happen. So they can toss treats in the crate, and then when the kids go away from the crate, no treats, so nothing fun happens. And then have them, do the hand targeting is great as well. You can also, so does Dakota growl when they open the crate to let her out? Because to let her out like more calmly, what you could do is teach, and it depends on the age of the grandkids. Like you could open the crate, have the grandkids like move away and then say, Dakota, touch, and then have Dakota exit the crate, touch their hand, and then get a treat for that. So you could do that as well. But I think what you did was great. Have them sit. If they're sitting by the crate and tossing treats through the crate, if Dakota's still growling, then they're too close to the crate. So then I would maybe move farther away, and you could use something like a target stick. I don't have one here, or a long wooden spoon and put peanut butter on so that the kids can be farther away, but still give Dakota something yummy through the crate, like peanut butter, or, use a target stick, something like that. But yeah, I think what you're doing is great. Good job. Oh, Willow, are you talking about Victoria Stilwell, the famous trainer? Yeah, she's amazing. So, yes, that would be a good idea as well. Let's see. I told him and asked him nicely if he would help when I work, and also said if he's not going to do anything with her or help, it's either I take her from you or I give her away. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Oh, see, Kim had the same thing. It's me or the dog. Yeah, Victoria Stilwell. She might tell you the same thing, like if your dad's not willing to help. I don't know what she'd say. It'd be worth it to ask, but one of my friends had a situation where the kids in the home were teasing the dog, so the dog was starting to get aggressive with the kids. So to increase the bond between the kids and the dog, she started doing enrichment with them. So having the kids do nose work games with the dog, hiding treats around the house and letting the dog find it, playing with a snuffle mat or a flirt pull with the dog. So finding ways that your dad can interact with the dog to increase that bond might make him want to help more. And if he doesn't want to help after that, then yeah, I would probably just take the dog yourself, or you like rehome. So yeah, and that can be tough too. If he's given her human food and no boundaries, because dogs need boundaries, predictability, structure, and it sounds like what he's doing is also contributing to dog fights, which is never good. Let's see, Willow, she already snapped at my mom when she was begging for food and tried to shoo her away. Yeah, I mean, if there's inconsistency in the house, so like if your dad feeds her human food, then she thinks that's okay. But then if she tries to get it from somebody else and it doesn't go so well, and then the dog snaps, there's inconsistency. So then the dog gets confused. It's, the dog has to understand like what the rules are. So if the dog's getting inconsistent, boundaries, so to speak, then it's confusing for the dog and they don't know what to do. So yeah, it's hard. Okay, let me hurry and do a drawing really quick. Then I'll answer a few more of these until 7. Let's see. And if I don't get to your question tonight, just because I do have to leave, feel free to email me, Tracy with an I at Pupford.com. Okay, I'm going to throw these on the ground and let Jade pick one. We'll see. This didn't work so well last time. Hey, Jade, come here. Can you pick one? Oh, good job. Pick it. Get it. Pick it up. Hey, Jade. Jade. She's got a bone. She's more interested in the bone. Here. Look. Can you get one of these? Jade, pick one up. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'll have to do it. Oh, here, you gonna pick one up? Pick it up. She never performs when I want her to. She was doing so well. I'm at work, so she got a bone out of the thing out there and doesn't want to do this. Nicole Robertson from Oklahoma. So congratulations, Nicole. And you know the drill. You're going to email hello at Pupford.com and let them know what kind of treats you want. So congratulations. And I will email them as well. Okay, Michelle, I am dog sitting a French bulldog, and when I'm walking her, she goes after other dogs and people. Yeah, so what I would do, this is kind of a long answer. If you see another dog or person and you know that she's going to go after them, I would go the other way. So I just kind of do an upbeat, like, let's go, and we turn, go the other way. If you can't go another way, I will work on like stepping off the sidewalk or a trail and do a come front, which means come sit and watch me. And then I'll fast feed treats while the other dog goes by. And then I'll start to do like an engage disengage game, which as soon as I see the dog, I'll stop and play, like have the Frenchie, like just look at the other dog, mark and treat. And when I say mark, that means clicker or yes. So it's like, oh, what's that? What's that dog? What is that over there? And then as soon as they look, as long as they can just look and be calm, then you click and treat. And then eventually they'll see something and then disengage and look at you. Now, if the Frenchie sees the other dog but starts to bark and pull and things like that, then the dog is too close. So in that circumstance, I just say, oh, let's go. And then we turn and go the other way. Or we step off and I'll have the dog face me and fast feed treats while the other dog's um, passing. That's kind of the really condensed answer. Um, we did do a course through Pupford. It's a reactive dog course, and you could check that out because we go into this in detail, and so that'll give you, like, it'll take you through step by step in detail what to do. But that's kind of the gist of it. And as if you're dog sitting and it's not your dog that you're going to be working with for a long time, I would like maybe try a different route where there's not going to be as many people or dogs, or just change direction. I would also start rewarding the dog for an auto check-in. So every time the dog looks at you, mark and treat. So the dog learns, oh, when I check in with this person walking me, I get rewarded for that. So then the dog will start to check in even more. But if the dog starts going after other dogs or people, then that means that she's too close. And so you need to increase distance. However, you need to do that. Turning and going the other way. I've had to like turn up and walk up somebody's driveway before to get away from another dog that was walking down the sidewalk. So yeah, try that. And if you need any of those handouts, just email me, let me know, and I'm happy to send them to you. Maria, we have a 7-month-old mini Aussie with submissive P since December 22nd. She did the same at the breeders. Oh, Lexi, hi. Sorry, I already did the drawing, but we'll catch you next week. Next week, I think we're doing this on Thursday at 5, I think. I'll have to look. So submissive, so I kind of deal with submissive P the same. I mean, I'll do things to try and increase the dog's confidence. So like snuffle mats, treat dispensing toys where they have to roll it around in, like, or a Kong wobbler, so they have to figure out how to get the treats out. Doing some basic manners, like sit while you're greeting people, things like that. But I kind of treat it the same way as I do regular potty training. So if they start to submissive pee, I'll just interrupt, like, oh, hey, we do that outside, and then immediately take her outside and then reward her for going potty outside. And if she did the same thing at the breeders, I mean, it could be kind of a genetic thing where if she, is a little bit more fearful or doesn't have confidence, I mean, sometimes the mom can pass on those genes to the puppies. So it can be hard to deal with, but I kind of deal with it the same as I would any other kind of potty training, where if you don't catch it, there's really nothing you can do. But if you're approaching the dog and the dog like starts to submissive pee, then I just interrupt, not to scare the dog, but just to like kind of interrupt and get the dog to like suck it back in long enough to go outside. But then make sure that you have a party outside. When she goes potty outside, it's like, oh, great dog, thank you, oh, you're the best. Give a treat, throw a ball, like whatever she likes to do that outside when she potties outside. And then start working on, like, some basic manners, like hand targeting, things where she can earn rewards or figure puzzles out or figure out how to get the treats, just to like give her some confidence and things like that. So that's what I would do. Oh, Kristen. or Kirsten, sorry. Okay, I will make you a thing for next time. Sorry, I didn't see this sooner. I usually, like I said, I usually will just stay on as long as I need to make sure everybody gets it's entered. But I just have to leave earlier tonight. So I have a paper for you next time, and I will enter you in the drawing. So make sure you join next week. Andrea, yes, I will answer this one. This will be the last question I ask. Tips for dog people reactivity. Not negative. Puppy just goes nuts to get to people, especially kids and dogs to greet. Yeah, so I do some impulse control. I don't, and some dogs don't like it when dogs like run up to them and get in their face. So I do impulse control exercises such as wait, like I talked about. I don't know if you were here at the very beginning when I talked about the sit and wait while I put the harness on. I do the same. So if the dog starts pulling towards another dog or person or kid, I change direction. But then I'll ask the dog to sit and wait. And it's like, if you can sit and wait, then I'll let you go up and say hi. So it's learning that impulse control. So for the dog, it's like, oh, I really don't want to wait. But if I wait, then I get to say hi. Does that make sense? So you could also do some, and as long as this is reactive in a positive way, meaning the dog just goes nuts because she wants to greet, it's still an impulse control thing. So you can also do the engage, disengage with that as well. So that would be like starting from a distance, and as soon as the dog starts to react, even if it's just excitement, then it's too close. So you want to start at a distance where the dog can just notice, and then you can click and treat, and then go a step closer. So the dog staying calm results in you getting closer to whatever the dog wants to greet. But if the dog starts to react, then you get actually farther away. So being calm and waiting then results in you saying, okay, go say hi. So again, it's that impulse control. So it's a lot of wait, so wait to greet. This is actually the first part of the Canine Good Citizen test, where the dog has to sit beside the owner and a stranger comes up and says, can I pet your dog? And the dog has to stay seated until the owner says, yes, you can pet. If the dog gets up and moves towards the person, then the person steps back and doesn't say hi. So if the dog moves too quickly, the person backs away. As long as the dog sits and waits, then the person can come and say hi. So again, it's all about that impulse control. The other thing that you could check out is, and this would be great. So Andrea, this would be great for your dog, and Michelle for the Frenchie. Do the engage, disengage thing. And again, I'm happy or no, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, the engage, disengage would be great, but also check out the 21 impulse control games that Pupford put out. Because anytime you can teach impulse control to a dog, it's going to be great. And it just kind of teaches them to have like that structure and the good manners. And if I wait, then I get what I want. But if I jump the gun and don't wait and pull or bark or lunge, then that's going to cause me to go the other way, and then I don't get what I want. So it's kind of like, if you eat your vegetables, then you get dessert kind of thing. Okay, so sorry I have to run tonight. I promise next week I'll stay on as long as you need. But thanks for joining, and have a great week. And Nicole, congratulations on winning the treats. And I'll see everybody next week. I believe Thursday. I will post it, but I think it's Thursday. So everybody have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we'll see you next week.